It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot. I'd like to sup with my baby tonight. Refill the cup with my baby tonight. I'd like to sup with my baby tonight. Refill the cup with my baby tonight. Lined up with my baby tonight, 'cause it's too darn hot. It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot. I like to cool with my baby tonight and pitch the woo with my baby tonight. I'd like to cool with my baby tonight and pitch the woo with my baby tonight. And brother, you fight my baby tonight, 'cause it's too darn hot. 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 It's too hot.
And that, my friend, is what you call alchemy. When a great song and a great singer and a great subject all come together and create magic. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. Who or what are you celebrating today? For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. My show is all about celebrating life, celebrating art, celebrating music, celebrating whatever it is we can find to celebrate in these troubling times that we're in. But music is the one source that can bring us all together. And for the next hour, we're going to celebrate several things that I'm very excited about. This summer, I got the chance to go to the Westport Playhouse at the invitation of my dear friend Joel Vig, because it was designated as a literary landmark, thanks to the incredible works of Lawrence Langner. And thank God the Westport Playhouse is still very much in operation. And next week, it continues the tradition of bringing the very best in entertainment by bringing the one and only Cherise Coaches to its stages. And she is going to be celebrating Ella Fitzgerald, the first lady of song. But we're going to celebrate you today, Cherise, and then we'll get to Ella in just a few moments. I always like to begin my shows by asking my guests, who or what have you celebrated today?
Okay. I celebrated Jesus today with church.
I did too. Yes. Well, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
I was in church this morning.
I celebrated.
That's good. Good for you. Good for you. And you celebrate Jesus through your music and through your art and through your craft. I asked for a photograph. I was a little late in getting to this request. We didn't get it. I asked for a photograph of you at 5 years old. And there's a reason that I asked for that photograph, Cherise, because to me, the 5-year-old self is the purest self. It's before life begins to tell you who you should or should not be and puts the layers of life on you. And I'd like to know a little bit about the 5-year-old Cherise Coaches, where you grew up, what your family life was like, and what was the music like in the household that you lived in?
Well, Cherise Coaches did not exist at 5 years old. It was still just Cherise Thomas.
Okay.
Wasn't born until much, much later. But the 5-year-old me was just full of life, and I just saw myself kind of how I see myself, except richer.
And, you know, back then we thought that 25 was old. So I thought I would be married with kids and a husband by now. But, you know, obviously, no. But the 5-year-old me was just full of life and just, I was ready to follow my dreams. Yeah, that's what the 5-year-old me.
Now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Chicago, in the south suburbs of Chicago, but I spent a lot of my time in Chicago and have lived all over the city. So yeah, and music for me back then was church. It was
Hmm.
church. I grew up Pentecostal. So my mom would only let us listen to gospel music when we were younger. Later on, it started to change a little bit, and she started letting us listen to like clean music. And then, you know, we just kind of just went astray, just started listening to whatever we wanted to.
I have had the pleasure of interviewing so many great artists who grew up in a Pentecostal household, and they've
Mhm.
all shared similar stories.
Yeah.
And Sarah Dash, God bless her, I was lucky enough to have her on the show, and she told me how she and her father was, you know, a minister in the church, how
Hmm.
she used to sneak away to listen to the music
Yeah.
that wasn't church music. Did you
Mhm.
have the same experience?
My okay, let me tell you what my sneak away was. My my sneak away. My mom is probably watching this, and I'm about to really bust myself out right now.
Okay,
Um,
Mona, this is just for today. So,
well, I couldn't. I didn't have these records and stuff. Like I didn't have any of these albums when I was younger. So I used to go to a girl at the church who she was older. She was a teenage girl, and she braided my hair. And sometimes I would specifically like try to mess my hair up so that I can get back all the time so that I can listen to The Writings on the Wall by Destiny's Child. I didn't have it. My mom didn't buy that for me, but I knew I could listen to it over there. So I would try to get my hair done as much as possible so that I could listen to music over there with my teenage homegirl who would just do my hair all the time. Yeah. Sorry, mom. I probably wasted you a lot of money, but had to hit
so I mean,
it.
growing up in a Pentecostal household, my grandmother was Pentecostal, by the way.
Mhm.
So growing up in a Pentecostal household, I don't know how strict your family was, but in my grandmother's household, they didn't have a television. They did not have a radio. They were very, very strict
Yeah.
in that department. It wasn't, you know, I'm an entertainer myself. It
Mhm.
wasn't until much later in my grandmother's life that she even came to the theater to see me perform.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
her excuse at that point was, by this point, I think God will forgive me. And she was there cheering me on, thank God. But did you, I mean, did you have TV and radio
Oh,
in your
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that strict. About as strict as it got for me was like the music. And like I said, that trailed off when I got into like, you know, the double digit ages and stuff. Um, yeah, I could have TV and stuff like that. I just couldn't wear pants to church. That was really it. My mom didn't make me wear skirts. My mom to this day still wears skirts. She's just more comfortable in those. But
Mhm.
she like wore skirts my entire life. I've probably seen my mom in pants maybe 3 or 4 times. But
Your mom
music,
and I may be of the same generation because I remember when you know, I grew up in the Methodist church, and
okay.
I remember when they allowed women to wear pants in the church. My sister's watching; she's going to be laughing out loud right now. But when Miss Myrtle in our church almost fainted when they announced that in church that women could wear pants to church. She said, "It's the end of the church as we know it." So, I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge deal. I used to think all Baptist people were going to hell because they wore pants to church and smoked cigarettes outside the church.
Exactly. So, I mean, where did the spark happen for you? Was it from seeing television or hearing music that you, I mean, obviously, I'm going to assume that you did sing in church. Uh,
Mhm.
so, when did the spark happen for you when you said, I have a gift here and I want to take this further than the church?
Um, I think. I don't even all the way know when it happened for me. I always knew I wanted to sing. I always enjoyed the feeling of being on stage, like what I felt like in the moment of singing. So that was, I just never wanted to not experience that. So as far as like doing it outside the church, I think it was really when I started writing songs. And I wanted to talk about more than God. I wanted to talk about more than, church themes. So that was for me what made me start doing other things. Because I was coming of age and experiencing heartbreaks and just all these different things that needed to be talked about. So yeah.
Well, did you have, I mean, I mean, and this was something I just learned about you, that you were a songwriter as well,
Mhm.
but did you have a clear path of where you wanted to go? I've always said that with most artists, there is either, now there, I'd say three prongs. There are either Nashville
Mhm.
or LA or New York. You grew up in Chicago, uh, but Chicago also had a thriving art scene. Were
Mhm.
you a part of that art scene in Chicago, or did you have the leanings to go somewhere else to pursue your dream?
Yes. So I didn't even really want to leave Chicago. I just moved out of Chicago a few months ago, to be honest. I just moved to LA. But I love Chicago, and I went to Columbia College, Chicago. Like I
Mhm.
got my degree in Chicago, and I was a part of all the communities, like the gospel community. I sung in community choirs. And then after that, I started like doing all of the different amateur nights, the different club scenes. Like I was at everything. So it was definitely thriving, and I was definitely a huge part of it, especially in the, early 2010s and stuff, like when I got out of high school. So yeah.
Did you have any opportunities in high school to do any theater or shows in high school?
To be honest, I had the opportunities, but I didn't do them because I didn't know I wanted to be an actor quite yet. I didn't really start acting like for real until I was like 24, like working at equity houses and stuff, and like pursuing it, getting an agent. I didn't do that until I was 24. So
Well, let's talk about that. How did that begin to happen for you? How did you begin? Were you doing other things in the theater besides acting?
no, I was not. I was literally strictly music industry. I was like touring with artists and writing my own stuff and running a studio at the time with the person I was involved with. Like I was strictly music industry and vocal coaching, of course. Yeah, that's all I was doing. Me getting
Okay, I mean, were you thinking that you were going to become strictly a vocal coach without the performing career, or was the performing career always that going to be part of the process?
Oh, it was always performing first. Vocal coaching came because I'm naturally gifted as a teacher, and
Hmm.
I had a fascination with the voice, and I needed money. So, yeah.
That helps. That hunger always will pull you through.
Yeah.
So, how did the acting start for you?
Acting started for me, honestly, I was about 22, and there was a community theater production of The Color Purple. Now, The Color Purple is my favorite movie, favorite book.
Mhm.
But there was a community theater production, and my best friend, his name is Mark Hood. Shout out to Mark. He was doing the show, and he told me that somebody fell out of the show, so they needed a replacement. I just was looking for something to do because I had just got my heart broken really bad.
Mhm.
So I was just looking for things to do, like to just occupy my time. So I went and I auditioned, if you will call it that. I auditioned for it, and then I got it. And after that, I was like, oh, I kind of like this.
Now,
So
when you say if you call it that, did you feel that you didn't give a good audition, or were you just going just to go through the paces of having something to get your mind off of the breakup or whatever it was that you were going through at that time?
I felt like it didn't even feel like a real audition. It felt like I was just going to sing for somebody. Like I really was not treating it like, how a proper theater audition is. There's the holding room, you got your headshot, your resume. I just showed up and sung. Like there was nothing formal about it whatsoever. And as far as I think I remember what I sung. It was not in the vein of the show. Like I just didn't even, I was so green, I didn't even have the tools to audition back then. I just showed up and sung. I was just looking for something to do.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, do you feel that at that time, because you didn't have all of those accoutrements that go with having to go in and the pressure of getting a job, that you didn't have that pressure on you? I've got to get this job. I've got to get this job. You went in there, and if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it happened. Do you think that you were much more relaxed at that point than perhaps you have become as time goes on?
Um, I was much more relaxed. And the reason being is because I hadn't experienced rejection in art yet. I had experienced rejection in other places of my life, but in art, like auditioning for something and not getting it, or like all the showcases that I did coming up, I got them. So I had not experienced or had even fathomed in my mind that there was a possibility I couldn't get this. It was like I was a really fearless and really bold back then. Like I had no inkling of, oh, how could you not like me? Like it was like pinning on arrogant.
Now, did you experience either then or now stage fright? Do you ever experience stage fright?
I don't really experience stage fright. I have this one thing that happens to me right before I go on stage. My stomach drops as if I'm on a roller coaster, and then I go out and I just do it. This is the Ella show that's coming up right now is the first time I've ever been nervous about anything.
Oh, we're going to really get into the Ella show in just a few moments. But again, like I said, I want to celebrate you and get the audience to know who you are as well.
Mhm.
When you got the color purple, what did that do for you as far as your mind shift? Did it change the way that you were looking at yourself as an artist? And was it at that moment that you really decided to pursue this as a career? And did you start putting a team together? And when I talk about a team, I'm talking about agents, managers, the people that it takes to really for those of you who don't know, it takes a team to get out there and do what we all do in this business.
Yes, it does. No, it still didn't hit me. Um, I didn't even know all of these different things. Again, I was just showing up and doing something. So it's like, oh, I've kind of been bitten by the bug now. I would love to do something else. And because my friend was actively auditioning as well, I was just like, okay, yeah, I think I'll go out for that as well. Sure, I can sing. But I never was thinking of myself as an actress. I never thought of myself that way. I just always thought of myself as a singer. I'm a songwriter. I'm a vocal coach. I'm probably going to be a professor at some point. I'm probably going to do this. I'm going to travel. I'm going to tour. But I never thought about that. I thought that maybe acting would come later in life after I was already famous,
Mhm.
for
Now,
singing.
did you get your equity card with this show?
With the color purple?
Color Purple.
No, it wasn't an equity house. So no, it was community theater. It was just my first thing. I didn't get my equity card until I did the Patti LaBelle show. Yeah. So it was much later, like in a bit in my like later 20s, I believe.
I think you've got these guardian angels over your shoulders, like Ella Fitzgerald, Patti LaBelle, thank God is still with us.
Hmm.
But like I said, I had the good fortune of interviewing Sarah Dash on this show, and Sarah became a good friend of mine up
Hmm.
until her very unfortunate, untimely passing.
Yeah.
Um, when you got your equity card with that show, um, were you did that change things for you? I was talking to a friend just a few days ago. I saw this past summer, and she was one of the few non-equity people in this show.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna out her. She's 45, and
Okay.
she still does not have her equity card. And she said
Okay.
that she's getting, forgive us equity, she's getting more work as a non-equity actress than she would have be able to get if she was equity. I'm an equity actor myself, so
Okay.
I'm pro union. I'm
Yeah.
not taking sides on this. I'm just making a point. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, did that change uh, the trajectory for you in terms of getting work?
No. Kind of like you said, it's been guardian angels carrying my career, because no, it didn't. It just has been an incline, like, for the most part. There are lows for sure. Like, there are seasons of I'm not working, but fortunately, when I'm not working, I'm doing something else because I come from the music industry. Um, for me, I've never even thought of it that way. I'm so delusional about my dreams that I'm just like, okay, that didn't work. All right, I'm gonna go do this. So yeah, I don't things didn't change for me as far as turning equity. It didn't change at all. If anything, it helped and I got paid more.
How did the Ella Fitzgerald show come about for you?
Very random. My friend Alexis J. Roston, she used to do this show. And she has been so busy. Like, she is one of the most booked, and just, I love her. She's one of the most booked actresses in Chicago. So she did not have the time to do this show. So Michael and Angela called me up, the producers of Artist Lounge Live. They called me up and they asked me would I be interested. They obviously got Alexis's blessing. I did as well. And I was like, yeah, sure. I just put some stuff on tape for the theater. They liked it, and they nice pitch deck for me. And a couple days later, I found out I had.
Excuse me, but did she pitch you to them, or how did they know to put you with this particular show?
Well, because I've been working with Angela and Michael some years now. I've been working on several other shows, just like as a background singer, like for all their different shows. That's how I was introduced to them. I came on with a friend of mine, Chester Gregory. He was doing a show, and because him and I are friends, he chose his own background singer. So I came aboard, and then Michael started calling me for more shows. Like, okay, well, can you also do Stevie? Can you also come and do the Aretha show? Can you sing background in that? And whatever, because that's, one of my trades. And I approached them about my own show because I've been wanting to do my own one woman. So they were like, Coach, it's time. They were like, how do you feel about it? And I was like, I'm scared, but I would love to do it. I want to be challenged. I want to grow at this point in my career. So yeah, let's do it.
You're stepping into a one-woman show, although it's not really a one-woman show because you're sharing a stage with incredible musicians. But you are stepping into a show that was created by someone else. Has she given you any flexibility in terms of what you were bringing to the show, or are you sticking within the guidelines of what was already created before you got involved with this?
Well, the show had to be completely revamped because the show tells a story of me and Ella. So it was personal for Alexis. So all of the things about her life had to be taken out so that they can be intertwined with my life. So Angela just interviewed me one day. We sat on the phone for about an hour. She asked me a lot of questions, and I told her about Ella's influence on me and just different things about my upbringing, like we're doing now. And then she pitched me a script, and I okayed it. I was like, yeah, this is great. And that's how it was born, the 2.0 version of First Lady of Song.
Well, I want to give the audience a little teaser of your show, and then we're going to come back, and I want to talk about the parallels of your life and Ella's life and how this all came together for this incredible show. And here it is. This is the little teaser.
Summertime and the living is fish are jumping and the cotton is high. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Boo-ah, 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 boo-ah. Won't ditch the dirt with the rest of the girls. That's why the lady is a trend. It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot.
Wow, I have to get there next week. I've got to see this show. First of all, I am such an Ella Fitzgerald fan, and I've learned so much about her from. Uh, I mean, with the research, do you have favorite books that you've read about her, or is that a part of your process? What is your process in terms of preparing for this show?
No, I didn't read any books. I am just a visual learner and audio type learner. So I had already been watching, like I had watched videos of her in my life because she
Mhm.
was introduced to me kind of late in my life. Um, obviously because of, me being behind on secular music in general.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, I start in the now and then go backwards. But she was introduced to me a little bit later, and so YouTube was around at that time. So I could watch her on YouTube and look at different videos of her. And so that's how I really started to study her. I just needed to I just wanted to get her phrasing and her little isms on stage and how she is. It was really in my talk with Angela that I learned the most about Ella. Because I had already knew a few things, but I didn't know this deep dive. I think Angela did the deep dive and it just kind of like spoon fed me and made me want to go Google different things. Yeah, that's how I learned about her.
What has surprised you the most? I mean, obviously, I'm going to assume, based on what I've seen, that you are a huge fan of Ella Fitzgerald.
Mhm.
What has surprised you the most about her that you didn't know prior to getting involved in this project?
The number one thing that surprised me, that well, not surprised me, but I just had no clue. She's a foodie like me. She is a foodie. She loved food and she collected cookbooks and she read cookbooks like in passing. Like she read them like books, just like regular books. Yeah, and for me, mine is a little different. I'm a millennial, so I follow all of the chefs. I watch every food show there is. Gordon Ramsay is my uncle, and you can't tell me any different. And yeah, like we are both foodies. That was the number one thing that surprised me.
Does that come into play in the show at all?
A little bit. We talk about it a little bit. Yeah, you really just got to come see it though.
Well, I'm gonna get there. How much of you is in Ella Fitzgerald, and how much of Ella Fitzgerald is in you? Beyond the fact that, first of all, you are, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting virtually across from me right now. You are a phenomenal singer,
Thank you.
and it's one thing to get up on stage and to say, "Okay, I'm going to do a show about Ella Fitzgerald." But to hold the audience's attention for, I think it's a 90-minute show. Am I correct?
Mhm.
Yes. You've got to have that power, and you obviously have that power.
Thank
Uh,
you.
you may do that uh, roller coaster thing with your stomach before you come on, but the audience is going to be doing that throughout the show, and I mean that in a positive way
Yeah.
because you're taking the audience on this journey. Um, there are a lot of things that she dealt with in her personal life as well,
Mhm.
and I know this from reading the press release and everything. And you touch about upon some of those things in the show as well.
Mhm.
Uh, what do you want the audience to come away with about Ella Fitzgerald after seeing this show? And this is a two-part question. And what do you hope that audiences learn about you after seeing this show?
Um what I hope for audiences to learn about Ella is that she just never gave up. She had tenacity, she had drive, she was resilient, and she never gave up no matter what. Throughout her, she had a rough childhood. She had a rough teenage years. She had a rough life in general, even when she got older, due to her having diabetes. Um,
Yes,
she,
I
she just
remember her
yeah,
performing, at Radio City Music Hall. And it's one of the greatest regrets of my life that I didn't see that final concert of hers.
yeah. at Carnegie. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even know she existed when, she passed. I was only like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So I wasn't
Don't
introduced
leave
to
it in. I was older, I remember.
yeah.
Yes. So, but again, huge fan. I mean, do you have, going back and doing your research, do you have a favorite performance of hers? I've got my own favorite. I'll share that in a moment. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering if you're doing it in the show. And if you don't want to give it away, you can say, come and see the show and find out.
Okay. Well,
So,
my favorite performance of hers is where is she? I forgot exactly where she is. I know she's in Europe. But she does something called one note samba. Yeah. That's my favorite performance of hers. That's the probably one of the first performances I ever saw of hers and changed the trajectory of my life.
well, I think she, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was in Berlin
Yeah,
when
I
she,
believe it.
yes.
Yeah, I believe it was that. I just didn't want to say the wrong country. And
And but her Mac the Knife that is just if you haven't seen it, everyone go and see it just for the brilliance of what she does with a song, and that goes on for like 20 minutes.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so many songs that are associated with her, and of course her uh, all the songbooks that she did,
Mhm,
the Harold Arlen songbook and the George Gershwin songbook, and I
mhm,
think she did an Irving Berlin songbook.
mhm,
All of the songbook albums that she did, and then the albums that she did with Louis Armstrong.
mhm.
Um, did you have any say yourself in terms of the songs that you wanted to do in the show, or were those songs pretty much in place due to the work that Angela had already put in place with this?
Well, yes, I did have a say in some of the song choices. There are some songs that were already built into the show that are pivotal for the show. And so Angela was very just very adamant about those staying, and it was fine with me. I was happy to learn new stuff, and gladly some of the things that were fixtures were already songs that I was familiar with. But she did like remove maybe a couple and then add some that were more specific towards my journey and just towards what I liked of Ella's. So but it there wasn't much work to do in that area because I love everything she sings. So it's like it's fine. I don't know it, I'll learn it. It's fine. Yeah.
Now, have you had the opportunity to perform this in front of an audience prior to Westport, or is this the world premiere?
This is the world premiere for me. Yeah.
Wow! And
Mhm.
have you been to Connecticut before, or would this be a first for you as well?
No, I've been to Connecticut, but I've been to like Hartford and yeah, those areas. So I've never been to Westport. But I'm looking forward to it.
And will this be the beginning of a tour that you will be doing, or is this an isolated performance? At this point, I'm always hopeful of things growing into other opportunities. And are you looking? I don't want to jinx you or do any of that, but are you looking at where you go beyond this?
Well, yes, it's an isolated situation. But the way Michael and Angela work, they're always coming up with something new. So there may already be something on the books that I don't even know about. Like, I know that after this, I will literally the next week go to do the Stevie show with John Mark Magaha within Artist Lounge Live. So yeah, there's always things. So a tour ish of different
Well,
things.
later this week, Friday is actually National Mentors Week. And
Mhm.
I'd like to ask you, who are some of the mentors that have made an impact on you, whether they be teachers, family members? We've already addressed both of us have come through the church. Perhaps there are church leaders who have made an impact on you. Who are the people who have made a big impact on you as mentors? And you also are a teacher.
Mhm.
What do you think makes a great mentor in terms of what you bring to the table?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, my mentors were first my mom. My mom is an award-winning band director. Currently teaches third grade, and she instilled so much foundational stuff in me, punctuality, making sure you look your best, making sure you prepared, just what is the word, initiative is what my mom really taught me, taking initiative, not having to be asked to do certain things, going above and beyond. That's what I got from her. Let me see, who are some other mentors? When I got older, I sung in a community choir called Joshua's Troop, and Percy Gray was the leader of that choir, and he became a mentor to me. Just with how he wrote songs, how he just lived his life, how he commanded all of these different groups within his music group. I thought that was incredible. So he was somebody to watch for me. My professor in college, Bobby Wilson, she's a renowned jazz singer within Chicago. She was somebody I looked up to. And then just all of the women on TV, they were amazing role models for me, great mentors of what to do. I watched Beyonce a lot as I was becoming an artist. Yeah, those are my mentors.
So
And
what? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you wanted me to, I wanted to answer what you thought a good mentor was.
Absolutely.
To be honest, being a mentor is, to me, also remaining a student. And by that, I mean being able to learn in your life, but being able to learn from the people you're mentoring. Because I feel like your students teach you how to become a better teacher, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. That's why I love doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I learn so much from every guest that I have on the show. We're going to do a little round robin thing in just a few moments. A fun thing that I like to do, because I like to tie spirituality and art and all of that in together. And I've got some questions that I'm going to ask based on my readings and writings and things that I've learned and picked up over the past week that I'm going to share with you in a moment.
Okay.
But when I want to know what you feel that you've learned, and I'm going to mention a few names that you've mentioned throughout the show, from Ella Fitzgerald on being an artist.
Fearlessness, ingenuity, finesse. Yeah, those everything, honestly. Yeah, everything.
Patti LaBelle.
Oh, authenticity, power singing, um, appreciation of food as well.
And she's a great cook.
Yeah, I've never eaten at her house, but I'm looking forward
Have you
to
ever
it.
seen her live in concert?
Yeah. I have seen her. Hmm.
That's
Um,
if you get a chance, anyone, it's one of the greatest experiences in the world.
yeah. Also fashion from her, because she
Mhm.
was really that girl. LaBelle, those were the girls, like that superstar. They were the original alien superstars. If you on the Beyonce wave, Richard.
Absolutely. I know. And Beyonce learned a lot from them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obvious. You can tell that they've all picked up these things as they go along. There's a great author out there, a great artist named Austin Kleon, and
Hmm.
he's written a book. He's written a series of books, actually, called "Steal Like an Artist."
Hmm.
And it's all not about, you don't want to steal someone's intellectual property, but
Hmm.
you want to take those things that make someone great and see if you can build upon those things.
Hmm.
And I that is what makes a great artist.
Yeah.
And great art is great art is great art. And
Hmm.
we all see this being repeated over and over and over again. So as we wrap up today, and again, I cannot wait to see your show, and all the details for this show will be on my YouTube channel, everyone. And you will be at the Westport Playhouse, and you're going to be coming up next week. When do you arrive in Westport?
Don't give me the line. I think the 26th, my schedule, I'm in Chicago right now. So I'm just like, I'm all over the place. My days are running together. The 26th, I get there the 26th.
So
Yes.
you come in the day before your show, and then you are going to be like shot out of a cannon, and you're off and running. And I want to
Literally.
tell you, that stage is so incredible. So you are in for a real treat.
I hear great things about it. So I'm very excited.
And, you know, I had a mentor, Florence Epps, and she instilled in me as a kid that every time I walked out on stage, she says, you're carrying the mantle of every great artist that has ever gone before you. And when I think of every great artist that has appeared on that stage that's gone before you, you are in great company. So congratulations.
Thank
So
you.
as we wrap up, one of the fun things that I like to do on my show is I've laid out 7 mystery cards. And so you pull a number 1 through 7. I don't even know what the question is that I'm going to ask you, and we're going to see where this is going to lead us.
Okay.
So
I'm
1 through
scared.
7.
1 through
I'm
7.
not.
4.
Okay. And the question is, I think I already know the answer to this, but this is in your own words. How do you feel that you're doing good in the world with your art? And how do you feel about the level of impact that you're making with your art?
I feel that I'm doing well, and I feel that the best I do as an artist is, well, I can say 2 things. The best I do as far as like in art is I write songs, and I write about stuff that people need to hear. I think I like to write about things that people don't like to talk about too, or may not have the words to say. So I like to be a voice for the voiceless. And then in art, as far as like what I give to the world, I give more artists. So I am a mentor to a lot of young people. I like to give people opportunities. If I can say somebody's name in a room where I know they're a good fit, that is how I give to the world, by just introducing more young, talented, amazing artists. That's my impact.
That's great. And I've got your YouTube channel on the bottom of the screen here. They can go and hear your music on your
Yeah.
YouTube channel. And if someone is interested, they hear a song that you've written and they want to perform one of your songs, what is the best way for someone to get in touch with you if they want to sing one of your songs?
I don't. There's no permission needed to sing any of my songs. Like like I feel like as long as you're not trying to pass it as my song, I mean as your own song, then it's fine. Because I sing other people's songs all the time with no permission. Um, it's when you go online and you say I wrote this song is where we're gonna have a problem.
So I pulled some random questions, and this is just for fun. And you mentioned Patti LaBelle and LaBelle and their fashion sense. What fashion brands do you buy, or do you consider yourself a fashionista? And when it comes to, I mean, we saw how wonderful the costumes were that you were wearing in the show. I mean, do you choose your own costumes, or were these built for the show?
No, yeah, that's my stuff. I consider myself a fashion girly of sorts, for sure. I love clothes. I'm what you call a high-low girly. So I Zara, but you might get a little Saint Laurent, you might get a little Balenci, you might get, just you get pieces from me, but I'm high low, you get a little Gucci, but it's gonna be with a little Zara as well, or a little FN Fashion Nova. Yeah, for sure.
Good for you. And do you like to shop in stores, or are you an online shopper?
I like to go in stores, but I am an online shopper as well. Like I shop to pass the time. My Amazon cart is filled with things.
Do you have an Amazon wish list?
I got a cart. Got a cart, and it's just filled with hundreds of dollars of things, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna just buy this one thing from my cart today. Yeah.
Which means your show has to sell out. Everybody go and see the show,
please, so that I can book some more shows, so I can zero out my Amazon cart.
How are you feeling at this moment with everything that's going on right now when it comes to your art?
Um, I'm just kind of going with the flow. I just moved across the country. I just came off the high of doing another incredible show. I did the gospel at Colonus at the Getty Villa out in Malibu, and that was
Oh,
great.
I know
So
it well. It's beautiful.
yeah, so I'm riding. I'm just kind of like riding high right now. I'm kind of scared a little bit because it's like I'm riding so high, and I just feel like I'm just going with the flow, and I'm booked a lot. So I feel great. I'm overwhelmed. Make no mistake about that. I'm overwhelmed, but I'm enjoying it. And yeah, I'm just living.
Just enjoy every moment. What is the most important action that you feel that you've taken in your career that has moved you to the next level?
Oh, that's a good question. Gosh, I want to answer it well. Um, the most important action that I've taken. Um, I think maybe deciding to like do more than just gospel because my life could have went a completely different way had I done
Mhm,
gospel, and
mhm,
I
mhm.
could I could very well be successful in that as well. But when I decided that I wanted to broaden my horizons to all music, I think that changed everything for me because I discovered how much I loved country. That's like my favorite. I discovered how much I love that and how much I enjoyed jazz, and so being like it made me a better songwriter. Yeah.
That's great. Um, what's your process? And when I talk about your process, I mean, let's talk about what your day is like on the day of a show and what those moments are like before you walk out on stage.
Um, the day of a show, honestly, I just wake up, I steam, I start trying to talk so I can get my voice started warming up, and I kind of relax though. Or I'll do a little cardio because I find that I have a much better show when I do cardio before a show. And I come back and I shower and I steam in the shower and I sing and I do my warm up in the shower. Um, and then I just get ready, and yeah, it's really like no real process the day of. It's really just steaming, rest, little cardio, a lot of water, and a good like at least 10-minute vocal warm up. Yeah.
Good for you. That's great. Um, how does one of your shows come about, the project? How do you decide, yes, this is for me? This is what I want to do. How did this become a definite yes in your life?
Well, this was a definite yes for me because it's Ella Fitzgerald. Um it was a yes. Like it was really nothing to consider. Even though I said yes afraid, it was still yes. Like it was I would have kicked myself had I passed on this. The opportunity to pay tribute to her. She's like the wallpaper on my computer, on my phone. Like I
Mm,
love her. I don't listen to her daily, but she is who I defer to when I need to learn a jazz song or when I need to get back to basics of listening to like a technician.
mm.
She's it. So I had to do this. Yeah.
Good for you, and I'm glad you are. You are a creator. What does your creativity give to you?
Um, my creativity gives me an escape. It pays my bills. Um, it it shows. I think that what I really enjoy most about being creative and about doing stuff right now is that the next generation is seeing that you're never too old to do it. You're never too old, and if you keep with it and um, if you stay the course, you can make a career out of this. So I'm always finding different ways, just using my creativity to find different ways to either make money or to create something new that nobody's ever seen. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Um, what do you feel I believe in the process of trying to be 1% better every day.
Mhm.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. What do you feel that you've done today to make yourself 1% better than yesterday?
Um, what have I done? I'm always doing stuff. I'll say what I've done this week. I gave up caffeine. I
Wow.
switched to, I switched to decaf coffee at the beginning of this week. It has been hell on earth for me.
Now, why did you make this decision?
Because I deal with anxiety, and I did not want to exacerbate my anxiety going into
Mhm.
the show. And then also, I heavily rely on caffeine. It's probably, I don't have many vices, but that is one of them. And I wanted to take that out of my diet. Caffeine is also drying. Like, I like to have a little bit of caffeine before a show, but it is actually drying to your voice. So I didn't want to have that as a thing either. So yeah,
Mhm.
I switched to, I'm sitting here with a big cup of decaf right now.
That's wonderful. What are ways that you can spend your time more wisely when it comes to your art, or do you feel that you do everything that you should be doing?
I definitely don't do everything I should be doing. Like, I don't. But sometimes I'm just really tired. And I have been learning to listen to my body and listen to myself when I am tired. Um, but could I do more? Absolutely. And that is what is in my plan, especially with me moving to LA. That was the whole purpose of me going, is so that I can leave my comfort zone. I'm very comfortable in Chicago. I'm a big fish in a small pond here. So it's time to swim with the sharks for me.
Why LA instead of New York?
Well, first of all, I'm tired of the winter. I'm tired.
That's a good answer.
I'm tired. I've done over 30 years of the winter. That's enough.
Mm, good.
Um, the winter in New York, it is it's hard to have a car in New York. Um, I think that I can't really deal with the walking and the public transportation and, like the homelessness it does something to my spirit. I can't deal with that. I think I'm supposed to, like, if I'm gonna do New York, I have to do it rich. Like, I'm definitely a Park Avenue girly for sure.
Well, that's going to happen. I can see it coming. Um, who are there any influencers that you follow? And if not, when it comes to influencers, who are three people besides Ella Fitzgerald that you really follow in this industry that you admire and why?
Oh, um, influencers, like social media personalities. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
My favorite social media personality is Kev on stage. Um, he is just a really cool person. Um, I met him. I had the opportunity to work with him. He's just really the real deal. Like, when it comes to people being one way on the internet and then being another way, when you meet them in person, he is really the same, and he treats people well. And it's a testament of his life, because from where he started when I was a kid and I would come home and watch his videos as a teenager, I told him that and it made him feel really old. I used to watch him and his brother and another guy when he didn't even live in LA, and he has literally just inclined. He's in Europe touring right now, like on his own tour. Like, he is probably the most inspiring because I've watched him longer than anybody, before TikTok, before any of the stuff. He was really doing it every day and posting every day. He's the most consistent, and he's a sweetheart to boot. So yeah, he's my favorite.
Oh, that's great. And what is the one action that you took today that moved you forward in terms of getting ready for your show?
The one action I took today,
Yes.
I went through the entire show, top to bottom, monologues and songs. I woke up this morning. I did act one. Then I watched church. That was my intermission. And then I did act two while I was getting ready for this. So yeah, that was my
And my last
preparation. I had to
question,
do everything.
how has this show challenged you the most?
Oh my God. This show is challenging me in ways I haven't been challenged. I've never had this much to say in any show, and I've starred in a couple of shows. And but with it being one woman, it's all monologues. It's not conversational like it is in, you know, other shows where you have scene partners. I don't have any scene partners. It's just me. So that's very difficult. But it's fun, and I'm off book, so you know, no calling
Well,
line
I
27,
I
but
I cannot wait to see you. Don't go anywhere for a moment because I'm going to give you the final word. When we're going to end with another clip of you from the show, but we're going to give you the final word, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. I want to thank everybody who tuned in today. It's a Sunday afternoon. You could have been anywhere this afternoon, and you chose to spend it an hour with Cherise and myself. And I know that I'm not speaking out of line when I say this. We in this business don't take it lightly when you show up. So the
no.
fact that you spent an hour with us means the world to both of us.
Mhm.
So if you enjoyed today's show, and I hope you did, please, please, please leave a comment on YouTube. What that will do is that will raise the level of where this show will show up in the ranking on YouTube. And the more comments we get, the more likes we get, the more shares we get, the more this show will show up in other feeds, and the more people will get to know more about Cherise and the show itself. I end every show by telling everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. Go to your Facebook friends list, and the 7th name that pops up, reach out with a phone call today. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, but a phone call. And let that person know the impact that they've made on your life. And by doing so, what you're going to do is you're going to make an impact on their life. I'm sure you've all experienced someone passing away, and then everyone is posting pictures of that person and testimonials about that person and talking about how much that person made a difference in their life. And every time I see this, it's wonderful to see it. But I go, wouldn't that have been wonderful if it was a month ago, so that that person could have experienced it?
Yeah.
And I think it's important. We can't do that with everybody every day. But if you take one person, everybody, and do that every day, I think it's going to make a difference in this world. You began this show by talking about church. And I'm going to end this by talking about church.
Okay.
Because in church this morning, our sermon was about the difference that we make in our lives.
Mhm.
As each of you go through today and tomorrow and the week and beyond, instead of going out saying, what's in it for me? Go out and say, how can I be of service to others? And by doing so, we're all going to make a difference. And that's what it's all about. I have a dear friend, Sean Moniger, who lives not far from the theater, and hopefully I'll get him to come with me. He says, we're all in the same storm, but we're in different sized boats.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, I don't care what size boat you're in, as long as you have a skipper by your side. And with that, I'm going to leave the screen. Cherise, you've got the final word. It can be about anything that we spoke about today that you want to build upon, anything that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any final message you want to leave everyone with today. And when you say goodbye, I will end with another incredible song of yours.
Okay.
I want to tell you something, and I mean this sincerely.
Mhm.
I've become a big fan of yours. And I want to thank Pat and everyone at the Westport Playhouse for making this happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeses are possible. Cherise, it's all yours.
The only thing I can say is come out and see the show. It's going to be a great show. We worked hard. I've worked really hard. And I really want everybody to enjoy it. So come out, see Ella Fitzgerald, see me sing Ella Fitzgerald. And yeah, that's it.
Summertime, and the living is easy. The fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. baby, baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, your door will rise up singing, and you'll spread your wings, and you'll take to the sky. But till that one, there's nothing can harm. With daddy and mommy standing by. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your dad is rich and your mom is good looking. So hush, be quiet, keep still, baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing, and then you spread your wings and you take to the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm.